Woke.
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 Woke. Woke.
Everything woke turns to okay?
All right, so we're going to leave Hollywood doing what Hollywood does best. They're going to make crap and blame us for not supporting it, I guess. I don't know. For most of you, you probably know that I am a filmmaker myself. I've made award-winning short films that have been in film festivals around the globe, and I'm super excited about that. They are short films. Working on our first feature film right now. We're in pre-production for it. It will be a crowd-funded, small budget, indie flick. And we are focused on telling a good story and delivering a great product to our audience, not social justice warriors and, virtue signaling and checking boxes to make sure we have enough affirmative hires of, color and sexuality and this and that. I just want to tell a good story. I'm working with, I'll call him my partner, my buddy, my partner in crime, my brother. He and I are working on this together, writing it together. He'll direct it. I'll probably do the cinematography for it. We're probably still a year or more out from doing that one. It'll be our first full-length film. Really excited about it. So stay tuned to that. I've got another channel called Mayhem Productions. I'll put a link to that in the description below if you want to check that out and check out some of our short films and some of the little interviews and other pilots and projects that we've done in the past. Go check that out and see what you think about this. But moving back on to this one, Get Woke, Go Broke. You hear that all the time. Here's one of the best examples lately, right? This comes from Hollywood in Toto, from Christian Toto, a very familiar name. You may have heard of him before. Disney exec blames woes on racist, sexist fans. Stock woes, box office flops, Wish, Haunted Mansion, The Marvels, theme park struggles, beloved brands struggling for relevancy after years of culture dominance. Indiana Jones, Pixar, Star Wars, the MCU. Down here, there's a cottage industry of alternative media outlets documenting Disney's decline. Add me to that list now because I'm all about it, because it aggravates me to no end that these people have all this money and all this talent and they're just throwing it away. I'm not among these guys. These guys are awesome. I watch every one of them. Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, Quartering, FilmThreat, Chris Gore from FilmThreat. Just awesome guy. I first found him on Film Courage, which was folks being interviewed for filmmaking. So he is a critic and he's done some films himself, and I'm a fan of him. I'm subscribed to all these guys' channel and I listen to them. They'll get together sometimes and talk. But Chris Gore was big for me before all of this, and just learning filmmaking. I've learned a lot from some of his feedback. But what went wrong? The company's hard left turn, for starters. Disney declared war on popular Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, pushed a not at all secret gay agenda, and embraced DEI principles behind closed doors, which they've been ousted and have openly admitted that they've talked about that and that they've been allowed to do that, right, in these family or children films. Yet the company may not be listening to fans all but shouting for the Mouse House to course correct and fast. Bulwark Culture editor Sonny Bunch shared a snippet from a recent Puck newsletter suggesting Team Disney isn't about to change its ways. The teaser comes from Matt Bellany of Puck News fame, who spoke with an unnamed Disney executive on the company's woes. Said executive blamed consumers, not the company, for its problems. Audiences are too sexist, racist, etc. to embrace Disney product. This isn't a joke. It's not us, it's you, racist, right? I'll go down here. I think it's a little bit bigger. Okay. This is from the tweet. So here's the tweet. We can see all that. All right, here it is a little bit. Be sure to read. Everyone says it's the movie stupid, which is an easy thing for people to say. More appealing movies are a great way to jump the political issues. But more and more, our audience, or the segment of the audience that has been politicized, equate the perceived messaging in a film as a quality issue. They won't say they find female empowerment distasteful in the Marvels or Star Wars, the latest trilogy starring Disney Ridley, but they will say they don't like these movies because they are bad. So make better movies becomes code for make movies that conform to regressive gender stereotypes or put men front and center in the narrative. Except critics aren't so keen on Disney's recent product either. Films like Wish, The Marvels, Haunted Mansion all fared poorly at Rotten Tomatoes. Others earned some more positive reviews, but hardly the kind of raves past Disney products earn. Survey says it's complicated. A Puck-produced brand survey offered mixed results for Disney. On one hand, Disney Inc. is suffering for its political leanings. All 29 companies have high favorability ratings that's consistent with most opinion surveys of major companies, and people actually carry pretty positive feelings about the major studios. But Disney clearly scores the lowest with 21% unfavorable. No other entertainment company had an unfavorable rating above 11%, meaning Disney is nearly twice as disliked as any other Hollywood entity we included. Hulu, which is owned by Disney, scored especially well at only 8% unfavorable, indicating the problem is the Disney brand and not of its sub-brands necessarily. Yet the same survey suggests consumers won't take that into account if the Disney product in question seems entertaining. Long story short, if last year's Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny trailer looked exciting, few would have connected the sequel to Disney's ongoing woes. They're putting out crap and they're saying we don't like it. Here's the truth. One of the things they were saying was we don't like women-led films, like the Daisy Ridley-led Star Wars films. Let me tell you something. The first thing they did is they attacked the fans of being racist, right? Because they had a black stormtrooper. I think he was like the first character you saw in the very first trailer for Force Awakens. And I will tell you, I watched the film. I didn't have a problem with Force Awakens that bad, really. It was more of a retelling of the same kind of stuff, but I was so much more excited and invested in the black guy, you know, even though I'm a racist, than I was the lead female. You know, Daisy Ridley seems like a lovely woman. I don't have anything against her. The character was one of those, what people call a Mary Sue. The fact that she could go toe to toe with the dark leader at the time, right? Your modern day Darth Vader, who was trained, we find out later, of course, he was trained by Luke Skywalker. She can go toe to toe with him in a lightsaber fight right off the bat. She knows how to use the Force. This is how they don't know how to write women. Emily Blunt, I've got a lot of credit I'll give to her. She says anytime she reads a script and it mentions that the description of her character is a strong female or something like that, she turns the role down. She doesn't want it. Because if you have to tell the audience or force the audience to believe that she's a strong female lead, then she's not a strong female lead. That comes from the actions. And guess what? Not all female leads have to be stronger than their male counterparts. And sometimes it's incredibly unbelievable that they are. Right? You have one woman that's, you know, soaking wet is probably 100 pounds, 110 pounds, and she's whooping up on, you know, 15 big gym bros that are martial artists and stuff. Stuff like that doesn't make sense and takes you out of it. Depending on the genre and stuff, of course, it's passable. You know, you can kind of suspension of disbelief and all this and that. But they push it too hard. They push that agenda. They push that female lead too much. We don't hate female leads. I mean, I know we keep using the same examples, but Sarah Connor, right, in Terminator, you've got Alien, God, I'm thinking of some other ones. I like that I can't think of the name of it now. It's like the Neon Atomic Blonde, with Charlize Theron. The movie had its problems, but I thought she was great in it. I thought it was fine. There's plenty of films. Disney was it? Barbie was a huge film last year, biggest film of the year. Had a female lead, and I mean, it wasn't my kind of film. To be fair, it wasn't my kind of film. I wasn't the audience, but I don't hate it because it had a female lead. The bits and pieces I've seen from what my wife and my child have watched have been absolutely, funny to me. I think it's hilarious. And a very, very well made movie. Very, very well made movie. Deserves all the props that it's gotten. But yeah, it's the easy attacks. Oh, you don't like the characters because they're black or they're gay or they're female or whatever. It's like, we don't care about that. Just make a good freaking movie. Here's another article and I know this one's been floating around, not this article specifically, but the story's been floating around recently. I remember getting home from school in the afternoons and getting my Dunkaroos. Remember Dunkaroos? Had the little like graham cracker cookie, and on one side of the pouch, and the other side had like an icing, and you dip them in there and stuff. I had my little Dunkaroos, and I'd sit down and I'd watch X-Men. And I wasn't a comic book guy. I've got some comic books. I wasn't a huge comic book guy. A lot of those other guys mentioned, like Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, those guys, Geeks and Gamers. I mean, I'm sure they love their comic books and they know significantly more about all of it than I do. But the cartoon for X-Men was my jam. Every single day I watched it, and it was one of the biggest things that Marvel had going for the longest. I think I don't remember which one of them said it the other day. It may have been Az from Hill versus Babyface, or it may have been Nerdrotic. I can't remember, but they were saying that they think that the animated series for X-Men turned more people on to X-Men than the comics did, or more people on to Marvel than like some of the comics did. And I was one of those people, so I'm very, very passionate about X-Men the animated series. In fact, I started showing my little girl some of these cartoons that the X-Men cartoons that I watched after school when I was a kid, and oh man, I loved it. Got excited about hearing that they were going to bring it back and they were going to do their thing, but I was a little leery, and I think I was justified in that. This is from comicbookmovie.com. It says X-Men 97 will be rated TV 14 on Disney Plus. One key member of the team will be portrayed as non-binary. Let's see. It appears Marvel's studio approach to X-Men 97 will be a little darker than X-Men the animated series, while it's also been confirmed that one of the key members of the team will be portrayed as non-binary. X-Men the animated series remains beloved among comic book fans and will finally return to the world in Marvel Animation's upcoming X-Men 97. Among the biggest surprises in the new trailer was the retro animation style, but that's not the only major change, and I do love that. I mean, I liked a lot about it. The homepage for X-Men 97 on Disney Plus reveals that the show is going to be rated TV 14, the small screen equivalent of PG-13. This is a fairly noteworthy difference when compared to X-Men the animated series, which was TV Y7 rating. This program contains material most parents would find unsuitable for children under 14 years of age. Reason official description, which strongly seems to suggest X-Men 97 will explore slightly more mature and hard-hitting themes. The original did that too, but the world is a different place now, and we expect the show to be particularly timely. I'm going to stop right there for a couple things, right? Number one, we live in soft times. Let's just be honest. Everything is offensive to everybody. So it would be interesting to see them go darker and more in depth. They don't have to. I mean, I'm someone who loved the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix because it went into just an amazing dark character study place that I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But you go look at Christopher Nolan's Batman movies, and I don't think there was like any cussing or anything incredibly dark in any of those, and they were phenomenal. The original X-Men animated series was phenomenal. It hit and touched on everything it needed to. It didn't go over the top anywhere, but I guess it could go deeper and everything if they wanted to, and that's fine, but I would really hate to see the new series, and this is where I may differ from some of those guys that was mentioned in the other article that I think the world of their commentary, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, Quartering, all those guys. But I don't think it needs to go there, and I don't want to see it pushed too far where children can't watch it, because I enjoyed it as a child, and I want my child to be able to watch it and enjoy it. I'm skeptical, of course, because it is a Disney product. The cartoons back in the day, she'll watch. You know, we'll watch those and have a good time. And if we never watch this, we'll be fine. But I'd hate to see that they are using it to push people away and make it for the adult audience to come back. I would love it to be loved by everybody, you know, children and adults alike. Morph being non-binary, we've seen in the comics and in the old episodes, any reference to Morph was he, him. Now, morph can morph into, you know, anybody, kind of like Mystique, you know, look or whatever, male, female, whatever. So I guess technically morph's non-binary. Here's kind of the thing I hate about it, really. I'm going to push back against. I don't care what anyone's sexuality is. That is not a critical part of their character in a show like this. Here's my thing. If it's not critical to their character, I don't need to know about it. I don't care if the character is straight or gay or non-binary or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, if Wolverine and Cyclops both have a thing for Jean Grey, that means they're straight. That's relevant to the story. I get it. Maybe they're bi and maybe they kind of are digging each other a little bit, but that's never explored. That's fine too. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not part of the story, I don't need to care. The fact that they're pushing that out there, that's the crap I'm talking about. They want to push it out there and say, oh, the audience doesn't like gay and non-binary and female leads. No, we don't like it's being forced for no reason. It's not relevant to the story. You make crap for story, and then you want to try to sell us on this other crap that we don't care about. I don't care who someone's sleeping with or what's between their legs. Unless it's particularly relevant to the story, it does not matter. But congratulations on checking your box, because that's really what happens. They have to conform to the modern audience. And I'm going to just tie a ribbon on there with this from bounding into comments. And this was from last year. X-Men 97 executive producer Bo DeMeo reveals series story is informed by his experience as a black gay man. Why? The link will be in the description below. It does talk about how he pitched it and whatnot to Kevin Feige and other folks. But look, you know, I get that we pour ourselves into our art. Again, as a filmmaker, I do that. Sometimes I bring elements of my faith, which is Christianity, into it. Or paranormal stuff that I have questions about, but still tie into faith and whatnot. I'll bring some of my flavor from the South into it. In fact, the script that we're working on right now deals with racism. I'm a white guy, and my brother from another mother that I'm writing it with, my partner in crime, is a black guy, and we're exploring, you know, some really deep topics of race back in the day, how they're affecting people from way back in the day, and they still hold on to it. Can they be overcome? I won't get into the details of the story, but I mean, we're finding ways to cover deep topics without forcing, you know, any kind of message or agenda on anybody to make them feel any kind of way other than enjoy watching the film. We want joy. We want you to be entertained. That's why we do what we do. We're artists. We want to make art. But these guys right here, Hollywood, they want to blame you and me for not liking the crap they keep putting out. They want to call you a racist, a bigot, a sexist, whatever, everything under the sun, because you're not coming out and seeing their film. I can't think of her name now, but and it's not just one, to be fair. It's multiple directors. But I love when they come out and they're promoting their comic books or they're promoting their movies or whatever, and they just absolutely crap on the men and say, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Or if you're a Trump supporter, I don't want you buying my stuff. Or if you know, whatever. And they do everything they can to push you away. And then when the film or the comic books are failing, they blame you for not supporting them. It reminds me of that meme where, like, you know, someone's riding the bike and then they stick a stick in the front tire and they flip off and they get hurt, and then they blame somebody else even though it's a, you know, self-induced wound there. That's what they do, but they will blame you. They will blame me. That's why Hollywood gets woke, goes broke.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.